that's how that went. And then later on down the line, we had business differences after I dropped my first album. And then so I ended up leaving. And then, I got all my rights back to West of My Dead and re-released it myself. But so I'm back on my solo.
Yeah,
But it's definitely a good experience. I mean, it's crazy because it's just like kicking it with homies from back in the day.
for sure. So other than Midget, has there been any other bigger Chicano artists that you've worked with?
Yeah, let me see. Midget, Cosme, he's a singer. Um, he's a little bit older, but I featured him on my Feeling You track, and it was dope working with him because he's a male singer. Kind of, I refer to him as like the Chicano Nate Dogg.
Okay.
Um, I did a show with Rich G. He's also a singer from Brownside, the singer Rich G. I did a show with him in Vegas. We opened up a show. Well, we didn't open. We were actually the headliners. But that was cool working with him. I didn't get him on a track, but it was cool working with him and performing with him. Um, damn, I've damn. I don't know. I'm not good on the spot, but I've worked with quite a few artists, and I would say the big names would be Midget, Cosme, Danny Boy from Danny Boy Productions.
Okay. Yeah, I know that name.
Uh, Even from Still Banging, I've worked with Lyric, Travi So Sick.
You got a song with Jasper too. Jasper, that song's dope.
Yeah, yeah. The way that came about was pretty crazy. I used to actually kick it with 2 and 3 with his neighborhood back in the day. I used to like kick it and do business and stuff. You know what I mean? And they would always be like, "Oh, I got the homie Jasper. You need to get on the track with him." I'm like, "Nah, I'm just starting. I ain't ready yet." But years later, me and Jasper ran into each other at a show, and I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna get him on the track." So I came out with my song "Suspect." I was like, "He'll sound dope on it." So I hit up the homies from his hood, and they got a hold of him, and then they shot him to me, and I got him in my studio, had him come over and dropped a verse and killed it. And then I later on, a few years later, did a music video to it. So Jasper, he's like, I grew up with his homies. So it's kind of crazy. Like we could have been working together, but for me, the time wasn't right. I'm like, nah, when I got something better, when I got something good.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so were you bumping like Charlie Rocampo, or was there other like Chicano rappers that were you bumping back in the
Yeah,
day? Like,
Charlie Campo was dope. Chino Grande was one of my favorites, man. Because of his penitentiary stories. Because I have family come from all that. So I really liked his stuff. Um, Jokes was cool. Yeah, Jasper was dope. He was more in the West Coast shit. Um, Wicked Minds. I used to bump them. Um, Night Owl, of course, and then fuck. Those are like the main ones I would bump. Mostly those. hmm Yeah, mostly the
oh
San
yeah.
Diego Lakers and Charlie Rocampo. Those would be the two main groups I would bump.
Yeah, I remember when that, because growing up, like I feel like the first Chicano rappers that anybody was listening to was like the San Diego fucking the Little
Yeah,
Ones, the Shadows and shit. And
yeah,
then fucking then came like there was like like the high power came too. But when
yeah.
I remember when Charlie Campo, I was like, damn man, these fools are dope. Charlie Campo, Conejo, I was like, yeah, you can fucking just feel the realness when you're fucking listening to every single lyric and shit.
Exactly. And what's dope is like I'm like I know the hoods they're talking about. I know fucking this fool's hood. I know. I was like, damn, it's cool. Like finally LA's doing it. And it was pretty dope because it's authentic. Like you're saying, you could hear it, you could see it. So it it was that's the shit I was on, more authentic shit. I just really like that real shit because you can always hear a difference when shit ain't real.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you making music around back then? Because I know you said you're a little bit older, so you were probably already in your fucking 20s and shit, probably late teens and shit.
Yeah,
When'd you start making
I
music?
graduated high school 2002. I was 18 around then, and then I didn't start making music till I was about maybe 21, 22. And I got into the studio right over here in Pasadena, and for my first time, I jumped on the mic. I wrote some West Coast shit. I dropped it. I was like, damn, that shit's. All the other people were like, that shit's dope. They're like, once you get your delivery on point, like your shit's gonna be dope just because of my lyrics. And then it's not even about being my lyrics aren't that clever. There's a lot of real clever writers. I'm not that creative and clever, but it's just more that street shit and
Yeah.
the authentic West Coast shit. And they're like, your shit's gonna be dope. So that's what I did. You know, I would go to the studio here and there, and then finally, I'm like, you know what, I need to build my own studio because I was tired of, you know, people not giving me studio time, or not mixing my shit right. I'm like, you know, try this or try this. Nah, it's good, it's good. Like, nah, I want to do this shit myself, you know. And I saved up little by little and built my own studio, and ever since then, it's just been 113%. You know, bam, knocking shit out. But
Yeah, for sure. That's dope. So what you start recording with? You start like a fucking just you got some Pro Tools, Adobe.
yeah, Pro Tools, and I've been using Pro Tools ever since I got them. I'm trying to think what year, man. I can't remember what year. I was probably about 23, 24, 23 when I got my own MacBook. And actually, to explain, my MacBook I got was stolen. And then like I went to Guitar Center. I'm like, buy some Pro Tools. I bought my Pro Tools. I got my little mic, some little speakers, and I get back home and my MacBook was stolen from me. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's fucking karma right there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna buy myself a MacBook how I should buy it. You know, and I did that, and ever since I still have the same MacBook today that I'm using. So yeah, I started with just a little mic. I can't remember the brand, but it was like a $50 mic, condenser mic. It was cool. Some little ass speakers, and now I'm like, I'm recording on my AKG mic. I don't know how good you can see. It's like in a little chamber right there. I got my big ass speakers right here. My shit's grown over the years. but,
Yeah.
but yeah, I started off school and it doesn't really matter what equipment you have as long as it's decent. It's more about as long as you can engineer it right, make it sound right, make it sound clean.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I don't want to say I disagree because I agree. I believe it's like okay, so like when I'm in a recording process, I think it's all about the microphone that you have.
Yeah,
Not really so much the program you're doing to record, but
right.
it does matter what program, in my opinion, when you're mixing. Like
Oh,
I'll record, you know, I'll record somebody on Adobe or Audacity, dude, and then have them, you know, hey, but we need to mix it in Pro Tools or we need to mix it in FL Studios.
okay, yeah.
Because you're gonna be able to get your presets and everything off of that. That's gonna make you sound the way that you need to sound. And so, I mean, because I've had a guy send me, you know, audio files from GarageBand with their cheap asses. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, I had someone send me some vocals the other day that I got them, and they're kind of a big name too. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't even fix that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
damn.
no, and you know, but I told him, say, hey, bro, fuck it, you know, fuck it, we'll do what we got to do, right? And the
Yeah.
homie, he has an amazing setup. You know, I got a studio, but he has a studio. You know what I mean? And so I sent it to his shit, and you know, after a couple of days and a few extra pesos, I was like, yeah, we gonna get. So, are you familiar with the artist Peso Peso?
Yeah, I've heard the controversy about him not speaking Spanish
Mm-hmm.
and being named Peso Peso. And then I heard also too the topics about the rappers in Mexico, you know, like Shadow going to Mexico and getting that respect. But yeah, with Peso Peso, personally, I wouldn't name myself a Spanish name if I didn't speak Spanish personally.
Well, you know, it was interesting, and just so it's understood for anybody who's watching this, it's
Mm,
simply just for the culture. You know,
mm,
I'm coming in unbiasedly, but I think that what the biggest thing is maybe not the name, but you know, because I grew up where in the same area that Yogi did. You know, I grew up around a lot of Chicanos, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, north side, south side, if you would. So I've never game banged. You know, I tell people I've never been a game banger, but I definitely grew up around it. You know what I mean? So
right,
I know some politics, and so I'm just like, you can't really call yourself the hardest essay ever, and then
right.
and say you're a blood. To me, that just kind of like, you know. But see, down
Oh, you said he was a blood? I didn't
no,
know that.
yeah. So that's the thing is that he's a
Oh,
so he's so he
okay.
are you familiar with Sauce Twins down in Houston, Texas?
No, I know the names, but not.
Okay. So they're big guys out there. They're like a midget local or Chino Grande. You know what I mean? They're up there. You know, they're like that. So but they're brothers. You know what I'm saying? They're brothers. They're black guys. But they signed Peso Peso, and then he joined their neighborhood, which is Bloods. And he's worked with like Trippie Redd, and he has a song coming out with Snow the Prodigy. He's worked with some major names.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think from like kind of growing up, even though I'm a gringo, kind of growing up on that other side of like, okay, like, you know, when I think SA, bro, I don't think that. You know what I mean?
Blood, yeah.
Yeah, we think other things. You know what I mean? And so I think when he did that, that's what it is. And then that's when he started getting called out. You know, but you don't even represent Rasa. You know what I mean? Like you're not even. You know, a white guy knows a little bit more Espanol than you do. That's kind of fucked up, homie. You know what I mean? Like that's
you grew up in it, and like you know how you grew up in it, you're automatically affiliated because you know some politics. You know that's just our culture. You know, if you grew up in it, you can't avoid that. And someone like that, I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, especially going off, you know, the first essay or the hardest essay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're from a blood neighborhood. One, you're not an essay. If you're from a blood neighborhood, you're a brother. It don't matter what color you are, you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna come to the pen and be with the fucking homies. You're gonna be with the brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely. You know, to me, that just comes off as fake as fuck because you really don't know what's up. If you did, you wouldn't do that. That's kind of hot.
It's kind of I agree with that. Even though I'm unbiased, like I said, I don't want anybody to sit there thinking I'm one-sided on something because I'm not. But I agree with that. It's similarities to another artist, if you would. You know what I mean? That it's from New York, and
who would you say it?
6ix9ine.
6ix9ine.
He's a prime example of that. Like when people say, "Oh, 6ix9ine and New Face of Rasa," like hell no, he's from a blood gang. That's brothers.
Yeah.
But see, I don't know if it's because the West Coast is so different and so gang fucking.
Well, and the thing is, homies, that so we live in the Yakima, Washington area. Yogi's from Toppenish, but we're all the Yakima Valley. But I got family down in Texas. My family's from Texas, and I've been down there quite a few as I've gotten older. And I noticed that I got a cousin, right? I got half Mexican, half white, blood cousin. But he's a Crip. You know what I mean? He's Mexican. You know, he's Chicano. Like, you know, but he says the N-word. You know, he's this and that. And I think it's a cultural thing. You can say the same thing about me, bro. I don't have no, brown blood in me. I'm a white guy, Irish guy through and through. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's all about where you grew up at and, you know, what influenced you. And so for that, to an extent, I give him that, you know, because, because SPM, regardless of what he's going through and doing time, you know, he represented his people, but he also represented where he's from.
Right.
And I think, I think a lot of these cats, they forget that it's okay to represent where you're from and let people know, hey, I'm not this, I'm not that, but don't forget where you're from. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what happens with these cats. They get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? They get lost in that whole let me paint a picture for you real quick. But there's some ingredients that I think a lot of these cats are missing, and that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, certain people get a pass. If like let's say, the homie that grew up, he's a Crip, Chicano, if he grew up in a Crip neighborhood and he's from the Crip neighborhood and he's authentic, then people like that get a pass because that's what they are. But like with Peso Peso or 6ix9ine, I mean, it's like they're probably most likely did it for business moves to get money. But the thing is, gang shit, you don't fuck around with that. I mean, you might be able to do that over there, but you come to the West Coast and you get killed for some shit like that. And that's something that they should be keeping in mind. I mean, we're gonna look at them like, what? Like we know they're fucking fake. That's some dumbass. That we don't move like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Do you think a lot of these fools just kind of do it for like the controversy? Like, do you think this is like a fucking like plotted? I guess because I kind of start to feel like that sometimes. I think because every other fucking day is this other fool like just like using the raza for clout and motherfucker like. Like
they want to get the Raza belt, get the Raza support, and then go flip up and claim a blood neighborhood. It's like what the fuck? But like you said, they're doing it for shock value, for money, because I know in hip hop, they pretty much say if you want to sell, you gotta have some kind of controversy. That's what sells in hip hop, and that's what the fans like is controversy, and that'll pull you into an artist. But like some of them, they're making their deathbeds and they don't even know, depending where they go. If they're just gonna stay home, they might be fine, but they come out to places like over here, it's a different story.
Yeah, and then but then again, it's like honestly, I do like I feel like how you said like it might fly somewhere else and shit. But then I'm like, these fools know like how much of like the out of respect, for like the shit that's going on in Cali, the essence and everything, it's been
Uh,
established a certain way. Like I feel like they know, and I'm like, man, they try to push that line, to try to fucking do get the shock value. Man, that's my opinion. I usually like don't really like talk about it because I feel like I heard somebody else say this like nobody even said nobody was even giving us 6ix9ine before the whole snitching thing. All of a sudden, homeboy
right,
snitches. Now he's like, well, now he's Mexican.
right. All of a sudden, yeah, like nah, we don't claim him. He's from one of your guys' hood. The last time I checked, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that shock value, but the only problem is that shit'll put him in a deathbed, in certain places. But I guess, I don't know. For me, money is not everything. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's not everything. I just, like us growing up in the places we grew up, we just ain't built like that to do, moves like that. I don't understand it. I wouldn't do it. I don't respect that. But if he wants to do it, go ahead. You know what I mean? Get your money, but don't be surprised if you get hit up, shot up.
On Tony A the Wizard, you brought an artist on called Baby Boy Slim. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
And a homosexual artist, you know what I mean? And he's Chicano. And there's artists like Mr. Night Owl, it's a chale, fuck that shit, that's not
Yeah,
Chicano, that's not Rasa right there,
yeah.
that's Otto shit, whatever, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, kind of want to get your opinion on that. I mean, because it's a newer thing. I mean, you've got artists like Little Nas X, gay, posting pictures of him with a pair of titties. I mean, that's not what this guy's doing. But I'm just saying,
It's accepted in their culture, or,
yeah,
yeah,
hip hop's definitely more, gay friendly now than it's ever been.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not homophobic myself, but I did grow up like, hey, you know what I mean? Like this, like that wasn't ever cool for me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The shit that I listened to, even listening to Eminem, you know what I mean? That kind of crazy ass shit. Like it was like he was fucking around, but and so kind of want
right.
to get your opinion that because it's Chicano raps universal, but it's still very consolidated in the sense
Yeah.
of the listeners. You know what I mean? Not
Mhm.
everybody listens to Chicano rap, so it has a core fan base. Even though artists like Shadow and Criminal can go to Japan or wherever and sell out shows, because they like that lifestyle. It's not sold everywhere. You know what I mean? It's definitely condensed. So I just
Yeah.
kind of want to get your opinion on
So,
that. As far
um, so I was actually there that day. So
okay,
Baby Slim, I actually went as a guest artist for I was at the very end though, the last 10 minutes I think. Tony the Wizard brought me on, and as a special guest just to get a third person's opinion that was a Chicano rapper's opinion that was in Chicano rap myself. So my opinion was like that's his shit. I'm not gonna hate on him for doing it. Um, he actually hit me up to get on the track. He had me go through a video shoot. I mean, I actually worked with him a little bit, Baby Boy Slim, and he booked me. Hey, how much? He paid me. He's good for his money. He's respectful. He didn't try no funny shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so and he actually bought tickets to one of my shows, and that's actually how I met him. And then since then, he, he hit me up maybe once or twice on some business stuff, and um, I worked with him. And I didn't think twice about it because, like you said, it's very controversial. I didn't think about it till later on, but it is very controversial in our Chicano rap culture. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how many people want to admit it or not, there's fucking gay gangsters. There's pictures of gay gangsters from different hoods, and in my eyes, he can represent them. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem long as you don't hit on me. Don't look at me funny because
yeah,
I
yeah.
so I ain't with that shit, you know. But I grew up with family members being gay, and so I'm kind of I don't think twice about it anymore, you know. It
Yeah,
doesn't bother me as long as they don't disrespect me, you
yeah,
know. And, I feel like he's gonna kick open if he keeps doing what he's doing. He's gonna kick open a new door to the gay Chicano, you know, people who are gonna. There's gonna be people gonna bump it. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
I probably wouldn't just because I just don't relate to it, but I'm
right,
sure there's a whole community that does, you know.
yeah.
And who knows, it might even be other gay communities that might end up looking into the Chicano culture who never would before. That's kind of how I see it. There's money to be made, and he's a grown man. If he's not asking you for stuff for free, then he's a grown ass man. He could do what he wants. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, no, and, and I do. You know what? I totally respect that view. I do because it's like if you're able to establish yourself like these are my boundaries and like even though you are who you are, I'll still work with you as long as we respect those boundaries of who we
Right.
are as people. No, then fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Because again, I understand where some people would be off, and then I see artists like Miss Crazy, Killing
Yeah.
Rodriguez as a friend of mine,
Yeah.
Lady Kinks. They've all done records with them. They all do meet and greets with them. The ladies of Chicano rap, as I call them, pretty much, And so, I mean, he's definitely known. Everybody knows who he is at this point. They
Yeah.
don't, as far as the artist goes, the fan base
Right.
is still getting privy to him. But yeah, man, I mean, no beef to, with Baby Boy Slim over here. We understand. We're just
It's
curious,
definitely
what I'm saying?
controversial. It's definitely something new to the Chicano rap industry. I mean, like you said, there's been gay women in it forever now, but a
Yeah,
gay Chicano rapper. But see, he even says himself, he don't bang. He's not from a hood. He's Chicano and he grew up in that culture, and that's what he's repping, being gay, and that's the whole controversial. And like, I was there, when Shadow called in. I mean, not Shadow, sorry, when Night Owl called in, saying what he feels. Like, it's cool. You could feel how you want, but I guarantee none of them ain't gonna say shit to his face. I can probably almost guarantee that if they do, then I don't know. I personally don't like people who call in to talk shit. It's like, come say that shit to my face. Like, I've had people hit me up like, hey, fuck you, this and that. I'm like, all right, well, I have a show on this day. Come through. Like, I'm not with that over the internet calling, talking, threatening, like,
yeah,
that all goes on record. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So some of us been through the court system and know what's up. But anyway, to stay on that topic, yeah, it's very controversial. I just feel like long as he does what he does and doesn't disrespect anybody else,
yeah.
then why not? Like there's a whole community and money to be made there. But it's dangerous, and he knows that though. Slim knows that it's dangerous because when he goes to interviews and anything, he doesn't know if it's a setup.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's a famous quote by a dude that I know named El Gallo Negro. Life's risky now.
oh yeah, exactly. It don't get more than that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I think is like, like how we were talking about earlier, like kind of like the horrorcore,
Yeah.
or like the dark shit. Like not everybody fucks with that shit, but there's always a market for whatever you're doing. As long as you're keeping it real, motherfuckers are gonna listen no matter what it is. And that's like me personally, like I didn't know that much gay people growing up, but I know some gay people, and it's all it's the same way like being around females, you're not just gonna just because you're attracted to a female doesn't mean you're gonna go disrespect every female. And it's the same way with gay dudes. As long as they keep it respectful, it's all respect, So I I applaud you honestly for being, like having the courage to go up there. But like, how was that backlash? Was there some people that, because I know you got haters, but I'm pretty sure that you got a lot of love, right, from probably people that you wouldn't expect. Was it more hate or more love? I'm pretty sure it's more hate, but what do you think?
It turned out to be pretty much 50-50. And my first guess was there's gonna be way more hate because I went on there at the end. So but there's still people on there, like there's haters throwing out names, oh, Gangsta Rig likes guys, or some dumbass shit like that. And then there's other people saying, oh, Gangsta Rig, that's dope as fuck that you're supporting our community, or that's dope that you're a man of yourself and you're not, gonna let other people tell you what to do. And, You know, like, so I got both. It was 50-50, and I expected that. But I'm okay with it because it's like, you can call me what you want on the comments, but come to my show and call me that shit. You know what I mean? And you'll find out real quick I ain't the one.